So hello everyone, today we'll be learning about Node.js server and we'll be understanding the role of Node.js as a server. Before that, we'll be understanding how a server actually works, like what is a typical web application which has a server works. So first of all, we need to understand that any client-side code which has HTML, CSS and JavaScript. This includes your normal front-end code. So it makes a request to a backend server. So this request is made whenever you want to get any data or anything. You make a request to a server, and that server will respond as data in a JSON, HTML, or CSS or client-side JavaScript code. So basically, server handles your request which is sent by the client-side code or HTML, CSS, JavaScript code. So that is handled by a server. So and it sends the response into JSON, HTML, CSS, or any kind of response, any kind of data as a data. It will send you the response. So basically, server is used for handling the database connections, and we can also use authentication in this, like user authentication in the backend. We can use that. Backend is referred. I'm referring backend as server. So server is basically be doing that thing, and also you can add your business logic in the server, such as like your how many products you want to create, or like how you want to create your products, or do you want to add users details or not. Some kind of things you can create at the backend. So this is a basic step that happens when you run a normal web application which has a client and server scenario. So basically, the client will send a request to a server, and that server will decide uh, after processing your code or the request. Then it will send you the response or the result uh, into HTML, CSS, or in JSON format. And also, server is used for database connection, authentication, and business logic. We don't do authentication on the client side because client side can be manipulated by the user, because everybody can open their developer tools and change the things or stop the JavaScript to happen, or to stop the authentication. They can manipulate client side code, but server side cannot be accessed by anybody. Server is intact. Server is safe to a computer, and only client side code can be manipulated, not the server side. Server side code cannot be manipulated by a normal user or a client side user. So it can be manipulated only by our coding, whatever we'll be writing. And also all the business logic for our web application is reserved into the server. So we build our server and perform any operation we want onto the server. So for that, we'll be using Node.js. So we'll be creating a database connections, authentication, business logic for any application. I'll be showing you how to do that. And we'll be working with requests and responses in the Node.js. So Node.js server will be used there. So Node.js is typically used for, generally we use for web development purposes, to create a server, and this kind of scenario which I shown you just now, to create a server that can perform authentication, database connection, and authenticate user validation, some kind of thing. For that, we'll be using Node.js. So this thing I wanted to like show you that how a normal application works and how Node.js helps. Whatever we are doing in the course will be to perform the server features. So like we can create the server features which I told you just now. So for that, we'll be using Node.js. Node.js alternative you have probably heard about is Django or Flask. You have heard about this. So it is a Python framework which we use in the server side to create the same thing which we we are creating for as a Node.js server. So we are using Node.js for creating server logic. Similarly, we'll be doing that in Django or Flask, which is by Python. So in the languages are changed only. So not just basically we use JavaScript in the creation of a Node.js server, but in the other frameworks we use different languages. For example, in Django we use Python, and in PHP use Python. In PHP we use vanilla PHP or normal PHP, you can say that. Also PHP has some other frameworks, we can also use them into the creation of a server like Laravel and other thing. So that is for the PHP. So we can also use simple PHP or their frameworks as well to create to do the same thing which Node.js is doing. And also there are other options which are Ruby and ASP.NET. So these are the things which are alternatives of Node.js. But why should we learn only Node.js? Because Node.js uses the biggest advantage of Node.js is it uses JavaScript. So JavaScript, which you learn in the front end, you don't have to do anything to create any server. You just have to code command in the JavaScript, then you can work with the Node.js. So this is the biggest feature, that you don't have to learn any new programming language. For example, if you want to learn create a server in Django or Flask, you have to know Python. And then if you want to build PHP, then you should have PHP knowledge, and same goes for the other. And Node.js is using only JavaScript, so that we have one advantage, that we have already know JavaScript in the front end, so we can also use it in the back end. So that is the big advantage of using Node.js. The other advantage of Node.js is that Node.js also manages routing, or you can say it creates a server and also performs the server logic, which you cannot find in other PHP or something like that. So in PHP you have to listen for the routes by using Apache or Nginx server, and then Apache and Nginx server uses your PHP code to perform the business logic or anything you want, user authentication or anything. For that you will be using two different things. One is Apache and Nginx and the PHP. But Node.js alone can do both the things, which is creating the server as well as listening to the routes and performing the business logic as well of your code, like user authentication, database connection, something like that, which I already told you or shown you some of the pictures of that. So that's why Node.js is the best choice to learn backend, or start with the backend, or start with creating a server. So we'll be learning Node.js as a server creator, you can say. So we'll be creating server and other thing which I told you, like authentication, database connection inside the Node.js. So we'll be doing all of that into the course. So we'll meet in the another video with a new topic. Thank you for watching the video.